Damn, that was a good peel. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I want to invite you guys to paint with me today, and we're going to do an art discussion along with the painting. So grab your art supplies or whatever craft you're fancy, and I'm going to turn you guys around so you can see the art that I'm doing. I've recently rediscovered my love for hot sauce, and so I drew my own hot sauce that I call bog water. This was an original piece of art that I did with markers, and this piece actually made me love markers. I love them now. But I just wanted to transfer this onto watercolor paper and do a different color scheme. Just, I don't know, just to see what I like better this way or the different color scheme. Plus, I want to do some funky line art with some brushes. I recently got brush pens, and I'm really excited and also nervous to test them out. But we're going to do that later on in the video, so let's just get started. So I'm starting to put down the masking fluid, and I'm really nervous about it because I haven't used it in about, over 10 years. So I've been doing art and drawing my whole life. However, I started taking it seriously around the age of 18, 19, and I very quickly tried to develop an art process. So I would do my sketches, and then I would sometimes do line art, sometimes do not. It just depended on my mood and like what I wanted to try to accomplish. And then I would put down the masking fluid. So the only problem was, because I was so green at using masking fluid, I didn't quite understand how much to put on because I'm very heavy-handed. I'm trying to work on that still. And I think I've gotten better. But anyway, I tried to not be so heavy-handed, but back then I was, and so it would glob up really badly. And then whenever you go to erase the masking fluid, it would just tear up the paper. And it would just make me so sad, make the art not look good. Because I know the concept behind masking fluid. I know why it's great. It's going to help my lines stay cleaner. It's going to put paint specifically where I want it to and not anywhere else, which is awesome. However, it just was not my favorite whenever I was first starting out. And this year and last year, honestly, I've been trying to make a point to re-fall in love and rediscover my art process. And I think I want to keep masking fluid up. Like, I want to keep up with it because I think it's just going to make my art look better going forward. But anyway, today's topic of conversation is growing pains, if you haven't been able to tell. I will say, I have made a rookie mistake because part of my art process, back when I started, I quickly learned that you want the correct weight of watercolor paper, and originally I think I used like 98 pounds. Then I progressed to 140 weight, which is good, but I typically like to use 300 because I'm so heavy-handed. But unfortunately, my last run to Michael's for watercolor paper, I got 140 instead of 300. And I'm so mad because I know my art process. I'm rediscovering my art process, but I know I like the higher quality weight paper. So I'm really annoyed I did that to myself, but I'm still going to use up the paper because it's still good. And I need to learn to be less heavy-handed anyway, and using the lower weight paper will kind of help with that. So hopefully nothing gets eaten up on this piece because it's coming out great so far. I'm actually pretty nervous for later on in the video because I'm me trying to do line art with a brush pen. I'm pretty anxious about that, but we'll talk about line art whenever that time comes. You see me right now, I'm still painting the green for the bog water. However, I just want to point out that I'm really liking, I'm doing really good with values because I'm also trying to practice with values. So I would say that line art and values has been my struggle with my art, and it's something I'm trying to work out, and so far so good. I'm pretty pleased. I just need to remember to make the conscious effort to do these things.
King? Buddy?
Think I'm not such a bad for me. we're at the moment of truth with this masking fluid, and it came out pretty well. I had to kind of rub over some spots. Like, I felt the paper to make sure I gotten everything off, and I had to rub a few spots. But honestly, the paper held up really well. I think I did a good job at making sure the masking fluid was pretty consistent, not too gloppy anywhere. It got gloppy. It got pretty gloopy at some points, but honestly, the paper withstood it, so I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty pleased, and I feel more confident that I'll be using masking fluid going forward. I think I've done such a good job at learning foundational things lately, and it's just helping my art in all areas, and that's all I think I can ask for while growing as an artist. So, not to toot my own horn, but I love this color that I'm mixing right now. It's like yellow with yellow ochre and then a little bit of brown, because I want to make this label that I'm painting right now kind of like a parchment color, and I'm just really happy because I think I kind of mixed the perfect color, and you see me darken it, and it's just gonna look so, I'm really pleased. I know it's just parchment color, like how boring, but for me, and my purposes of art, like what I like to draw, I'm super excited about this parchment color. You have no idea. Okay, so now you see me going in to start to paint the cheddar pepper, and I really love how this cheddar pepper came out. He's supposed to be based off a habanero. I actually use a picture reference from it, and I think it came out great. Oh, look at that yellow. I think the yellow for the habanero just pops. It's just so, I'm so pleased with how this piece of art came out. And speaking of consciously, you know, trying to make conscious choices, I tried to do a conscious choice of putting good values into the cheddar pepper with the shading, because I wanted to do some really dark colors and then really highlight like his face, and I think I do accomplish that, which is nice. And yeah, there's that dark yellow we were discussing earlier. It looks so good. I'm really happy with how this is turning out. I would love to do more like hot sauces and just like things and bottles in general. I just think that's so fun, and I feel like people have done that before, but like I want my turn to do it. Like, I feel like people sometimes stress too much about, oh well, this is redundant because this type of art has been done before. Don't worry about it. Like, I'm not going to worry about that, you know? Like, I want to do my own interpretations of things because there's so many things to draw, and I just think that makes me so happy. So here we are with the brush pens. I've never used these before, so I'm really nervous. This one I'm really excited about. It's the Pentel Pocket Brush Pen, which I know people rave about online. The ink cartridges are refillable, which is really cool. So we love that. But I've never used this before, and I'm going to test it on some paper. This just makes me new paper. Before I actually put it on the art, because I'm going to be really mad if like I spill ink all over it. Oh, and then I have a second one, which is more of a fine liner. I think it's AI Liner. Ultra fine brush pen. I actually looked on the JETPENS website, and I'll try to find the link to the article and leave it in the description box. But they actually like went through different brush pens and had different points about them that were really cool, and I don't know, it was just a nice, well-researched deep dive, as JETPENS should do for their own products, right? But just good recommendations for brush pens, and I thought that was awesome. So I'll try to find that and leave that link below. And I'll be honest, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to talk and do this. Ooh, ink is already starting to come through. To talk and do this at the same time. I want to try. Okay, so I looked online how to do this, and I think I'm just supposed to start using it, and then it's supposed to. Oh, there we go. Okay. So yeah, so I'm just gonna practice with this guy and we'll see how it goes. Oh Jesus, okay. Yeah. So line art has never been my strong suit. Like, so part of my process back when I started art years ago, because I started to learn how to, there we go, started to learn how to draw manga. And so I would always do a sketch, and then I would do line art. This was before I would transfer onto a clean sheet. So I would do sketching and then line art, and then the actual coloring. And line art I was just never good at. Even though I tried to add line weight, I just found it difficult, and I feel like my lines were so wobbly that I hated it. And then I thought I could get away with like I fucking love this pen, y'all. I thought I could get away with like the lineless line art, and by that I mean like, I like to watercolor, and so if I can get my values correct, like using color, I could have gotten away with, you know, not having to do actual lines because the lines would already be there due to value, if you understand what I mean. Like, I don't know, like, it would just, my thought process would, my watercolor would just create such a crisp line that I wouldn't need the line art. And that hasn't really worked out for me either. And then I stopped drawing for a few years just because I hit a wall and I felt discouraged and I didn't know how to like motivate myself to like, I guess, practice and to know like what I really wanted to practice. And then all of a sudden I started getting back into art again, which is fucking awesome. And I've started to do like the long process that I used to do of creating art, and it's just so good. And I just want to add line art back into it. And my husband actually suggested that I use a brush pen, which I have never really used before. And I started using it on my Mayflowers, which is really cool. And I don't know, I just fell in love with it, and I'm gonna do it on this official piece of art because I love the flowers and they're good pieces of art, but you know what I mean, like an actual like well thought out piece of art. I just want to try it on, and I think it's gonna go over well. Let me actually do the fine tip. These squiggly lines mean absolutely nothing. I was just having fun. My line weight I'll just do as I go on the paper. Oh, look how fine tip this is. I don't want to use this one too much because this one isn't oh yeah. Oh, that's good shit. Oh, and also, whenever I first started out, I used like black ink for a hot second, but then I noticed like a bunch of Disney artists, because I used to love Disney art. I still love Disney art, but you know what I mean. Like, I noticed that the characters from Disney all were outlined in brown, or sepia, I should say. So I started using sepia, and I really like the look of sepia. However, I also want to try black just because it's so classic, and I think I'll like it now with the brush tip. But the jury's still out whether or not I prefer black ink for line art or sepia. I guess it's honestly going to depend on the subject matter. But honestly, I think this is good. I think I was too afraid over absolutely nothing. So I'm going to grab the art again, and we are going to line art this thing. Hold your breath for me. That's good B-roll. Go babies. Yes, hi. All three of them. All three. Before we get started on this, because I wasn't nervous until I actually put the piece of art back, and like, now I'm nervous. I thought I should go over how I'm going to work on the line art, just because I forgot to mention that in the last clip. So I think I'm going to just work outside in, and do variants of starting with thicker lines on the outside, and as we move inward, I think do the fine liner, but then pick and choose kind of what I'm going to highlight with the bold as we work inward, if that makes sense. Also, I hope you guys are liking this deep dive into my art process. Please let me know by leaving the video a like. I'd appreciate it. Whew, okay, let's do the damn thing. I think the key for me with doing the line art is just start with doing just a long, confident stroke and then just go from there. Because honestly, I always keep copies of my sketches, so because in case I mess up, I don't want to kind of lose the art, if that makes sense. So I made multiple copies of my sketches and stuff, and I can always just redo the art. That would be so annoying. But I gotta just take that stress off of me, and knowing like, if I mess up the line art, I can just try again. because I don't want to be too scared to do it. I think just doing it over and over again is just going to help with my confidence with doing line art. And honestly, I think this brush pen is just meant for me. I think it's making the art look great. It's giving me that funky line art that I wanted, and I'm completely happy with what I'm doing on screen right now. Ta-da, editor, please put up a full piece of the art here. I really like how it came out, but let me know what you thought in the comment section below. I really like this color variant over the blue and yellow. But again, let me know. Also, let me know how you enjoy your art process and if you're rediscovering your love for your art process, because I think it's important. I'm having a lot of fun with rediscovering my art process. It has its growing pains, but again, that was the topic of today's discussion. There's still time if you want to join me in Bog Demons May Flowers. All you have to do is follow me on my other social media, linked in the description box below, and just do the daily prompted flower with hashtag BogDemon. That way I can see it and repost it, because I would love to see you guys' art. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you want to follow me on my art journey, because it's going to be a fun time. If you haven't seen our last video, which was giving the art studio a makeover, I'm going to leave that for you here, as well as my very first Color Cube art challenge, because that was a lot of fun. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.